Hi Capricorn, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but I advise you to watch all three so you can get a clearer picture of which part of you I resonate with more than any other. There's no astrology in these, so you'll need to kind of really feel it out and eke it out to see which ones are resonating most with you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week, and while I'm doing that, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share. And if you should so choose and this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. All right, for your key to the week, you've got the moon card. So lunar energies, but also the moon card has a very cyclic energy to it. All right, and this week I think you're actually going to be observing some of the patterns and the cycles that have happened in your life. You will be thinking and reflecting very deeply on what has taken place recently, and there might be something that you are maybe not necessarily confused about, but maybe there's something here that you are sort of really trying to figure out. And maybe the reason that you're not getting any answers from this is because you're not aware that there is some kind of unresolved fear or potentially unresolved conflict. The moon card, and it has a very intuitive, but it's also a very instinctual energy by it. So again, I'm going to say this, it may very well be that you're needing to really pay attention to where it is that you might be reacting to something because of an emotional imbalance of sorts that you're not really clear on, right? And this happens to all of us. You know, sometimes we don't know our triggers until certain things happen. This is potentially a week where that could show up for you. In terms of your actions and options, you've got the King of Cups. So we see here, that's a Pisces man. So Pisces, King of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Moon card, Pisces energy. That is a Piscean male. Is going to feature for you in a lot of what you do this week. This might be someone that is very much to the forefront that you didn't expect to be. In terms of your actions, this is about you really needing to dig deep in your emotional intelligence. That's one of the other meanings of the King of Cups. And, you know, with everything that I said about the moon card, there is an element of this. You will need to really plumb the depths of your own feelings to really understand why you're having such a reaction to something that takes place this week. And it may be because there's something unresolved. It doesn't have to be unresolved trauma, but it could be like something that is a trigger for you that you didn't realize was a trigger because you've never had the experience that you needed to trigger that certain emotional reaction. In terms of the options that are available to you, it's going to be your creativity this week. That is your way through. Your creativity is your outlet, all right? And if you can tap into it, it will serve you very, very well. In your mind your business, Siri, in your communications and conversations, you've got the Queen of Swords. This is not an easy card, right, if for communications, because the Queen of Swords can be quite a cantankerous energy. When it's a person, this is somebody who is a very formidable adversary. And, you know, usually that's an air sign woman, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, but can also, and very often does, represent an older woman, right? And the fact that you've got this with the Moon card and the King of Cups, let's take this to talk about your emotional stuff. This is a very strong reaction by you verbally to some kind of trigger that comes up that you have yet been unaware of. So this week I urge you, since you're watching this reading, if at some moment this week you have like a really strong emotional reaction where you think, you know what, the vitriol that's about to come out of my mouth while I cuss this bitch. Oh wait, that's me. Jokes aside, if that happens, remember this reading and say to yourself, what is the trigger here? Why am I so upset or so triggered or annoyed or frustrated by this? Because there's obviously something here that I'm unaware of at this moment. Now, This could also be an old argument, challenge, or issue that comes back up that really does need to be circulated and given some air. With this many court cards out of just the first two, there are a lot of interpersonal connections that are coming up for review. When it comes to your, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, that Queen of Swords does suggest that maybe you're striking out on your own in terms of your studies in some way. You're having to really do something on your own, or to pull away from the mainstream or your lecturers or your teachers or what it is that they're trying to teach you. I've seen this happen before, only a few times, but I've seen it happen before where someone said to a tutor or a lecturer or the department, oh, I really want to write my thesis on this. And, they do everything to discourage them or to dissuade them. No, there's not enough research. You're going to really struggle. And it's like, this is what I want to do for my dissertation. Why are you trying to block that? And if that is the case, you got to fight for it, Cappy. You really got to fight for it. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this may be where you're having a conversation of resolution with a boss. It may also be where, for some of you, you're handing in a resignation. That's very possible, especially if you feel or you see that something isn't going to change, that for you is quite a fundamental need for change. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, I actually kind of like this because it means that you're putting someone in their proper place. And this isn't about being mean for the sake of it, but it is kind of you putting someone or something in its rightful place to say, hey, listen, you don't get to step over me in that way. And then for those of you that are retired and no longer working, there's a chance that this happens in the familial sector where you're really needing to step up in some way. So in the love and relations, you've got the Four of Swords. When it comes to those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, there's a possibility that there's an issue with an in-law that has already come up before. That Four of Swords says, let it play out. Don't feed into it. And this is why I say, if you have a really strong reaction to something this week, ask yourself why. There's obviously something unresolved in there. For those of you that are single and looking, that Four of Swords kind of says the love life is on the back burner this week. And I would say that really is where it needs to be. You have other things that you need to focus on at this moment in time. For your money and materials, you have the Eight of Swords. So there is, this card is constriction and confinement. And opposite the Four of Swords, that's a financial stalemate that comes up either within a partnership or a collaboration. You've got this with the Eight of Swords. It's almost like you're unable to access your money this week for some reason. And that could be for, any number of reasons. Maybe you lose a bank card. Maybe you lock yourself out of your online account, and sometimes those things are such a ball ache. If you're anything like, I was a pretty careless kid. I was always losing things when I was younger, and this is one of the ways that can show up. Now, you got the Moon card with the Eight of Swords, and this, it's not like depression for health, but this could be where you're just not feeling as active or as mobile as you usually are. This is not a week to force it, okay? And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, for some of you, you could literally be homebound this week. I touch wood, and I hope that's not the case, but this actually could be due to your health. And I urge you to take the break, right? If your body says to you, I need to rest, I need to sleep, I need to whatever, this week I urge you to pay attention to that. If, however, this is somebody else's health that is kind of not a burden to you, but is something that you do need to keep an eye on, there's a chance that you either don't make it to work because of this, or that you are called upon in a level of service that sees you having to choose between the home and the family, or, your career. It's kind of possible for a lot of you. So it will be interesting to see how this plays out. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Look, it might be a challenging week, so I wish you all of the good stuff. If you would like to get a personal reading with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.